They call me a walking incinerator for happiness. Damn, it's a pleasure to burn.
Films. A lot of them are used for a lot of things, be it relaying a message to the audience or used as propaganda. This can be said in a verbal way, which can be relayed through conversations, or through non-verbal ways, through mise-en-scene. As stated before, Fahrenheit 451 film adaptations will be analyzed in this paper. The first film was made in 1966, and the movie director of this adaptation was Francois Truffaut. Ramin Bahrani created another Fahrenheit 451 film adaptation that was later released on HBO Movie in 2018, starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael Shannon. The movie talked about a lot of things, just like how it is in the novel: book burning, censorship of knowledge, free speech, and a lot of that. However, there are not a lot of studies that are talking about the women of Fahrenheit 451. The method that will be used in this paper is the method and study by Molly Haskell. Haskell has established types of female characters in films. Some of those characters were ordinary women, extraordinary women, and also ordinary women who go through changes of their own and became an extraordinary. With this in mind, using her theory, the paper aimed to do an analysis of the female characters and see whether they improve in terms of character developments and define Haskell's description of women characters in films, specifically Clarisse McClellan and Mildred Montag. Now that we have established the method and the problems, let us move to the first part of the analysis. The first character that we will be talking about is Mildred Montag, and she plays the role of Montag's wife, as well as one of the female characters that contribute to Montag's awakening and realization of the bland life of technologies and find purpose in reading books. From the books and the film adaptations, it is clear that she is rather distant with her husband and seems invested in her television, as it is an attempt to avoid all of her problems. We can see that Linda in the 1966 film adaptation seems very immersed in the television that she owns, similar to the one in the novel. Her entire personality is based on the TV that she watches daily. An example that showcases this personality is at 14:30 minute of the film, when Montag declares that he is going to have a promotion to Mildred. Despite standing right next to her, Linda doesn't respond and even calls Montag to ask, "Are you listening, Linda?" As the movie progresses, Linda goes through some changes in terms of characters, though slowly. In the beginning, she seems to be only thinking about TV, but one night after she sees Montag reading a book in the dining room, she seems to change a bit. This happens at minute 50 to 40, and as she goes to look for other books, she is caught by Montag. She finally questions what her husband has been doing. It took her a while to stand up to Montag, but at the end of the day, she finally did it. At hour 1 minute 24 in the movie, Linda is seen walking to the firehouse and submitting a photo of Montag to the post, leading him to be looked for by the fire department and the police. To compare it to Haskell's theory, Linda matches the ordinary women who turn extraordinary description. Linda is considered ordinary in the film because during the first half, it only includes her doing daily routines as a housewife with nothing more than the usual. Only after she shows doubt to Montag regarding his new action in reading books, she finally decides that it is the last straw for Montag and gives his information to the fire department. Adding to that, she even leaves Montag when their house is visited by the fire department, showing that she is trying to break out from her marriage. According to Molly Haskell, one of the ways of an ordinary woman that can set herself apart from her fellow ordinary women is by defiance, and Mildred shows that in the film. However, though Mildred plays an important part to Montag's life, her existence is not available in the 2018 film. There is no other female in his life other than an artificial intelligence that is installed in his home named Yuhria. Mildred's erasure in the Fahrenheit 451 film is explained by Laura Harrier herself in an interview with The Wrap, stating that the reason why there was no Mildred was because of time limit, and also the director stated that he had to change the storyline due to the time limit. Though Ramin Bahrani has stated that her erasure could let other characters flourish like Clarisse, her erasure might signify other thing. According to Haskell, this type of character has an ongoing myth, which is that women would rather be stuck rather than sorry. The fable kept going to reconcile the women in their position. Mildred's character erasure might mean a way to prevent her defiance to happen, thus preserving the existing status quo. since in the book she will be the one who tells the fire department about Montag. The next character that will be analyzed is Clarisse McClellan. In the book, the reader's first encounter with her is when Montag walks home from his work. She asks him a lot of questions about his life as a fireman. In the 1966 film adaptation, she introduces herself as an English teacher who is on probation due to her being unorthodox, and this might have happened because of the lesson that she teaches. There's not much of a scene with Clarisse, as she only appears when Montag is around. Her character, like Linda's at the beginning, is very flat, but despite that, she is the opposite of Linda, as she shows lively attitude rather than Linda. Throughout the entire film, she shows her curiosity about Montag's life and seems very cheerful about many things, such as when she is asking questions and getting to learn more about Montag. Despite that, her character, as well as her decisions for her action, relies a lot on Montag, and a lot of her actions would be possible if Montag does not come into her life. In the 2018 version of the adaptation, she is an informant and a member of a community called Eels who read books and consume any other form of intelligence. She does not show any of her youthful exuberance, but instead she has shown a side that is the opposite. She is serious and seems cold and distant with other people, though at minute 22:56 she is seen helping some people in gathering supplies, and she seems to only show a warm side that she rarely shows to everyone and keeps a cold shoulder when she is among the people who condemn her and other eels. Most of her scenes are her scenes when she is on her own while doing her things, such as giving intel and helping other fellow eels. However, after the scene from minute 44:53, her character changes. She shows sympathy to Montag despite him being her main enemy. She starts to read books for Montag and play some music when they are together to get in with the knowledge. This shows that Clarisse has changed fully, from a cold person into a warm one just because Montag is around. This can be seen through the lightings during her scenes. Before meeting Montag, Clarisse's scenes are often associated with dark colors, which signifies her seriousness in her work. Some part of her face, or even her entire face, is usually blocked by the dark lightnings. After meeting Montag, the lights become somehow brighter. This may signify that she has changed and found someone that could accompany her days. In most of the scenes before this encounter, we almost rarely can see her face clearly, but now, we can see her face and expressions very clearly. The 1966 film Clarisse shows an example of a mixed character between the ordinary and the extraordinary character, with her being ordinary because she remained flat throughout the movie, and extraordinary because of her situation. In the 2018 film adaptation, Clarisse is also an example of ordinary and extraordinary character mixed into one. At first, Clarisse shows no interest in the fire department and their business, and she only works her way to get her fingerprints back. In the earlier scene, she changes some information with Beatty and got her 6 months of reduced sentence. There is a sense that Clarisse is a workaholic and only wants to get what she thinks matters the most, which is her freedom. Being considered as unusual and unpopular in the society seems to be a way to be considered as an extraordinary woman, and Clarisse checks all the lists. When she first learned about Montag during the time he follows her, he is brought back to Clarisse's room and starts to exchange conversation about how Montag wants to try and read books that are banned, and other books. And right from there, Clarisse starts to help him in reading and teaching him other things. In a sense, Clarisse clearly shows that she is doing something that Montag later feels comfortable with, which is the knowledge. At times when they are reading together, Montag is trying to comprehend the words in a book. However, he seems very comfortable when he is with Clarisse. This signifies that Clarisse holds the position of a comforting love interest despite all of her attempts in showing their agency prior to that exact moment. Though both Clarisse and Mildred have some changes in terms of their portrayal, such as changes in their name, personality, and jobs, both characters remain similar despite the changes in the era, which is a woman with a character that is commonly found. Despite them showcasing their agency, they remain the same. Some people fight for women's rights, but despite their attempts in doing so, women's role in the two movies does not change a lot. What is interesting about the whole adaptation is that the two roles remain the same due to the two characters being the result of two movie adaptations, of course. Their character portrayal might be different, but their roles remain the same. Such changes could mean that the film is adjusting to a certain era or maybe even adjusting to the film director's command.